A very warm welcome to the news in details. As Muslims in Rwanda and around the world celebrated Eid al-Adha on Tuesday, President Paul Kagame wished them a happy Eid and urged them to continue protecting themselves from the COVID-19 pandemic by respecting the preventive measures in place. Serge Noli has more on the details.
Eid al-Adha comes as 8 districts and Kigali city are in the midst of a COVID-19 total lockdown, and the rest of the country is observing travel restrictions between districts as well as other measures. And President Paul Kagame tweeted his message to Muslims in the country and around the world, urging them to protect themselves and their loved ones from the pandemic. In a part of Kigali usually referred to as Birjogo and generally recognized as the heart of Islam in Rwanda, Muslims spent the morning slaughtering goats as to prepare meals to share with their families, friends and the needy in their communities to mark the day. We collected money and livestock so that we could slaughter the animals and give the meat to family, friends and others unable to afford celebrating this day in this way. As Muslims, we hold such values to be important and must do it every year. This is an important day for us Muslims, a day of giving to other Muslims and non-Muslims alike, because we are all one, as God commanded us in our holy Quran. This is a very important day for Muslims in general and Islam because it reminds us to do ibadah, which includes all actions that please God. This day reminds us that because helping Muslims and non-Muslims alike is a must for every faithful Muslim. It is not easy, but we have accepted this as the authorities require us to respect the preventive measures against this pandemic. Today is a very important day for Islam. The Mufti of Rwanda joined Muslims in Nyanza district of the southern province in prayers to mark the day, and he too urged the faithful to respect the COVID-19 preventive measures in place. In all honesty, this is a culture and ceremony based on love, unity and cooperation. Unity is the foundation of all things, and people should be reminded of this regularly. The Quran tells us that life is a gift from God, and anyone who breaks the preventive measures in place is doing a terrible thing, because Islam forbids us from breaking laws, especially directives coming from our leaders. Islam requires this of us, and anyone who behaves in that way can expect penalties to be imposed, and even God will punish such a person. Eid al-Adha, or the festival of the sacrifice, is the latter of 2 official holidays celebrated within Islam. It honors the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son Ismail as an act of obedience to God's command.
More than 130,000 students across the country are happy to take the national examinations for the ordinary advanced levels as well as the TVET schools amidst tight health guidelines to control the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Gloria Mutesi has more.
The exam room from the math examination. Some of the students from Nyagasambu School in Ramagana district couldn't hesitate to confirm that they are positive that they will excel. We're from doing the mathematics exam. It was easy. What we expected is not what we got. We thought it could have been harder, but I expect to excel. The math exam we just finished was easy. It's the things that we studied. There was no challenge. Even while we were at home, we continued to study through radio lessons. Rubaduka Jave, whose child is currently doing his ordinary level final exam, says parents have done their best to prepare their children after a whole year of no school. We gave them ample time to prepare for their exams as parents. When they wake in the morning, we don't occupy them with too much housework, but rather use their time to revise. We encourage them to not get distracted, and we also encourage them to have timetables of when they can revise, perhaps in the afternoon, and then wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. With the current lockdown, the government has committed to transport the students doing exams to and fro their homes.
So the government arranged so that all those people can be facilitated. Now we have around 151 buses that are operating here in the city of Kigali, and the government is going to incur the cost. All those students, the support staff and all others who are involved in these exam administrations are not going to pay for transport fees. So the government thought there shouldn't be a student who can be prevented from sitting a national exam because maybe the parents could not pay the transport fees. So the government is incurring the entire cost.
These exams are currently underway at a time Rwanda is battling against the coronavirus pandemic, with 106 students doing exams while COVID-19 positive. Bernard Bahati, the Director General of the National Examination and School Inspection Authority, says these students are being given special attention.
Particularly concerning the student who may be sick now, who tested positive to COVID-19, they are also facilitated. No one is going to miss national exams due to the fact that he or she tested positive to COVID-19, as we did for P6 exams. Even for these current national exams, there are arrangements. The students who are in home-based care, they are facilitated to move from their homes to exam site, and then they sit for exams in a special exam rooms, and then they are also facilitated from exam centers to their homes.
195,987 students from ordinary, advanced and TVET levels are the ones sitting for the national examinations, including 1,930 from private schools, and these exams will be concluded on the 27th of this month.
Thank you, Gloria Mutesi, for that report. Now, Rwanda Biomedical Center has urged breastfeeding mothers and pregnant women to be careful not to be infected by COVID-19, as some have been greatly affected by this and others have lost their lives. Fiona Babazi has more of the details.
Kachiro Hospital continues to provide maternal health care and pediatric services to all those in need during these times, as explained by CP Dr. Daniel Nyamwasa, head of the hospital. Every child has their own bed, and the low weight was received had 670 grams. With equipments like CPAP and ventilators, we help them to breathe well. Mujamaria Valentine, one of the mothers, applauded the efforts made and precautionary measures in place to protect them against COVID-19. I came here yesterday to give birth and I was well received. I was taken through a cesarean section and my child came out healthy with 3.4 kilos. We wore our masks, washed our hands thoroughly. They checked our temperatures and we felt safe. We wear our masks well, wash our hands in and out of the hospitals, and the services given here are good. Maternal, Child and Community Health Division Manager, Rwanda Biomedical Center, Dr. Felix Sainzoga, says that in general, in Rwanda, services provided to pregnant mothers and those who are about to give birth today are provided in accordance with COVID-19 prevention guidelines. However, Dr. Sainzoga says that some of them are at risk for getting the COVID-19 infection. We have had cases of mothers getting COVID-19 and some pregnant women have even lost their lives due to the disease. Breastfeeding mothers also caught COVID-19. Pregnant women, immunity is at times low and they catch the fever, shortness of breath and others that can easily lead them to their death. Dr. Sainzoga explains that it is important for the population to protect mothers and the pregnant women against this disease. We urge pregnant women and mothers who have given birth to reduce the number of people visiting them, and the population at large should not visit them at home because they can easily get infected because many people do not even know that they are sick. According to RBC in Rwanda, more than 94% of mothers give birth in hospitals and more than 350,000 babies are born each year. However, only 47% go for antenatal care, which is required at least 4 times during a pregnancy.
The city of Kigali and the city of Paris are going to collaborate in the fields of culture, new technologies and innovation. This is part of the memorandum of understanding signed between the two cities this Tuesday. Laura Mutesi continues.
Rwanda's Vision 2050 includes the development of cities, including the capital Kigali, and its development will go hand in hand with the well-being of its residents and availability of recreation areas for relaxing. Promoting urban development and social well-being is also the goal of Paris, the French capital. This common vision of development and good relations between Rwanda and France, which was strengthened by the leaders of the two countries, is one of the reasons for the signing of the partnership agreement between the city of Kigali and Paris. The project is expected to bring a lot of benefits to these cities, according to its officials.
Ça va faire profiter définitivement à nos populations respectives.
This will benefit our population, especially through the support that we shall get. We talked about culture and preservation of history in various sectors, and Paris is an example in that area. What we've signed isn't based only on urban development, but also for social well-being for the residents of these cities.
Que ça change la vie, surtout de nos populations.
C'est un partenariat qui est important.
This is an important partnership that emphasizes the friendship between the two cities. I believe part of what we ought to do as the mayors of these cities include proper service delivery for our people in areas such as culture and technology, which has become an integral part of our lives.
Et il vaut toujours mieux maîtriser les choses que les subir.
The mayor of the city of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, points out that Rwanda's 27-year history after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi is a testament to the resilience of Rwandans who have not been put down by their history.
Ce que je vois, ce que j'observe du Rwanda, c'est aussi
What I see in Rwanda is the capacity and resilience of Rwandans to build from a bad history, that is the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, where they've built the country on the values of education, culture, and good relations with other people, which is a great message to the young people and to the survivors to build a Rwanda in partnership with other countries, including France. I believe the message from the French president was of great value, especially to us, the French people, in understanding and accepting this history.
de la reconnaissance de cette histoire.
The mayor of Paris, who arrived in Rwanda to attend the 41st conference of the French-speaking city mayors, visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial in Gisozi to pay homage to the more than 250,000 victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Miss Anne Hidalgo also visited the Nyanza Genocide Memorial, emphasizing that the preservation of the history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi is important in building peace and building a better world.
While a good number of financial institutions continue to gain profits during the pandemic, Kenya Commercial Bank, whose headquarters is in Kenya, has announced that the government of Rwanda has approved the acquisition of Banque Populaire du Rwanda, which is currently owned by London-listed financial services firm Atlas Mara Limited.
KCB Group announced it had signed a deal with Atlas Mara to acquire 62.06% stake in BPR. According to BPR Managing Director Maurice Toretich, this is of great benefit to the KCB investors, BPR and their clients.
The intention of this transaction is, and I think it was mentioned by the KCB Group CEO, is to consolidate the two operations, such that we have a much larger bank, in Rwanda. And the benefits of a much larger bank are obvious. So one, the combined banks will have a larger capital base, which means the bank will be able to offer larger credit facilities to customers than what each one of the banks can do on their own today. So that's good for customers because the new bank now will be able to finance much larger infrastructure. The other side as well, BPR has been a domestic bank. And so it's the access of the customers of BPR to the region has been non-existent. So KCB will bring these to their access immediately, because then BPR customers will become part of an East Africa banking group.
Wanting to know as to why Rwanda continues to attract investors in the financial arena, we spoke to Moses Nyaiwanda from the PwC.
And probably to look at it pre-COVID, you'll realize that the Rwanda economy has been growing at a much higher rate than any of the East African neighbors. That for sure then creates an opportunity for anyone looking to expand to say, which economy can I place my money and I know I'll be able to get good returns. Financial services, and in particular banking, was a big contributor to that growth. As such, then Rwanda is a natural choice when you are to look at the financial indicators at a country level and say, where do I want to place my money? For that reason, you're finding a number of financial players in the region, and in particular Kenyan banks, putting a lot of focus in the Rwanda banking industry.
Despite KCB buying BPR, it does not mean that it is going to be one and the same, because in the definition of KCB management here in Rwanda, BPR will be KCB's assets, but continue to operate as a separate bank, as George Odhiambo explains to us.
KCB is listed as in the Nairobi Stock Exchange and is cross-listed in other stock exchanges or security exchanges markets in East Africa. This transaction is not about share swap. This transaction is about cash payment. It is okay to say that once the acquisition is complete, performance arising from that proportion will be consolidated in KCB performance.
While the history of this BPR bank dates back to 1975, which is the bank with the largest number of customers in the country today, KCB Bank was started in 1896 in Kenya. It is the bank with more than 360 branches in the region and about 1,090 ATMs spread across Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and South Sudan.
Nyabitimbo 123 Mining Limited, a mining company in Gitambi and Gashonga sectors in Rusizi district, is complaining about people that are stealing from their mines in Gitambi sector during the night. And while the heads of the sector are aware of this, they have not done anything about it. According to the company owners, the illegal miners continue to come at night and dig up their mines. Sometimes those illegal miners come and dig up in the nearby farms that belong to people, as you can see it here. This also threatens the security in this area. The company says it tried offering jobs to the locals, but they seemed reluctant or difficult to work with, and instead they decided to start stealing from the mines of the company during the night. At around 8 p.m. on July 2nd this year, Nyironsanga Jean Damascene, one of the 8 guards of the mining station near the Jabge River, was assaulted by the illegal miners. They came and started throwing stones at us, so we ran, and as we were running, I was the one they managed to catch. So they dragged me and made me sit near the river. Then they started hitting me with wooden sticks, and one hit my head with a hoe handle, and I fell flat on the ground. Then they left me there. I did recognize them. The company is claiming a loss of millions in just 2 months since the theft begun. They are requesting the heads of the sector to help in catching those people, as most of them reside in the nearby villages. Each person that works in these mines is paid a wage of 40,000 Rwandan francs, and we are a total of 16 laborers, which means on a monthly basis, a company spends over 18 million, and in 2 months, it amounts to roughly 35 million. On one hand, the authorities say that there are still unfinished agreements with the company. Hence, once the issue is solved, both sides will have talks regarding its security. The executive secretary of Gitambi sector, Iyakaremye Jean-Pierre, says in the meantime, the company will be suspended. They never followed the procedures of measuring the land which they will be mining in, considering the environmental aspect and the insurances of their workers, how they will be working, along with the materials they will use. We suspended the company in order for them to first fulfill their requirements. Then afterwards, we shall allow them to keep operating as we agree on terms of how we shall work together to secure the area. On the other hand, the owners of the company presented documents which were issued to them by the Rwanda Mines Petroleum and Gas Board, as they say that they don't understand why the sector's administration would take such measures, yet they failed to put a stop to this issue of theft. The Rwanda Mines Petroleum and Gas Board issued us the documents and informed the mayor. So if they claim that they are not informed about the company, they should ask the mayor. So I don't understand why they want to suspend the company instead of stopping the illegal miners. The mining officer in Rusizi district, Mbaraga Jules, says that they are going to solve this issue as soon as possible. Since people that got the mines are being assaulted, we are going to work hand in hand with the local authorities and the security organs to solve this issue as soon as possible. Mining companies say they have been struggling with the issue of illegal miners, hence they are requesting for cooperation in putting a stop to it. Now, some lawyers say that despite the city being under total lockdown, their work has carried on virtually. They say, however, there are various obstacles they are facing due to lack of legal consultation with their clients and the postponement on various cases due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Gabi Muvunyi has more of the details.
Some lawyers say that during the lockdown in the city of Kigali and in the 8 districts across the country, some courts have been directed to work from home. Nonetheless, some of the lawyers say that this has caused some cases to be delayed, and this has affected the way they operate.
We cannot physically interact with our clients, whether it's criminal cases, ordinary or civil cases. Talking through the phone isn't enough. Another obstacle we are facing is some cases have been postponed from 1st July to now, and they have not gone to trial yet. We are waiting for the decision to be taken so that we can conduct the trials online. In addition, working from home is not the same. The productivity rate at work is higher.
It has had an impact on my clients. We are used to the fact that the public should be given speedy justice. My client has written to the court asking for a closer date for the trial. But the Chief Justice says that it will all depend on the directives given from the government on the COVID-19 pandemic. Another thing is that if the client is under lockdown, some may not have the money to pay me, and that will affect both I and my client. However, lawyers say that despite the difficult times during the current lockdown, they are happy with some of the decisions that have been made to provide justice. There is a system that has been put in place to try cases virtually, and we are happy for that. Another reason to be happy is that we have been given permission to visit our clients in prisons. The judicial spokesperson, Harrison Mutabazi, says that due to the use of technology, the courts have not completely stopped operations.
The courts have continued to work hard on the cases of the detainees in custody so that the detention centers with the largest number of people can be reduced and the prisoners can be sent to prison while those that are said to be released can be released. I am not going to talk about figures based on statistics because we do that after a month, but I hope with the use of technology this will be made easier.
The directive from the Chief Justice of Rwanda on July 15, 2021, states that the courts should comply with the new COVID-19 preventive measures. And regarding the pending cases in Kigali City and in the 8 districts, each court is required to notify the parties of the new date on which their cases have been transferred to. These directives will apply to cases being presented for the first time, as well as appeal cases. The category includes cases relating to incarceration and remand, urgent claims and complaints based on transcripts of complaints filed by one or both parties. Gabi Muvunyi, reporting for RTV News.
Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you for staying with us. I'm Jane Mutoni. Good night.